I've got a couple more things that I want to sow today. It was mentioned on channel about just going over the sowing times, etc., which it always states on back of your seed packets. But I don't always follow those guidelines because for some crops I offer them shelter in a greenhouse, so I can extend that sowing period for a little bit longer by using the greenhouse, bubble wrap or fleece, just to keep that frost at bay. But we haven't got frost at the moment, which we're grateful for. So that's why a lot of time I don't stick to what it says on seed packets. Apart from when it comes to things like tomatoes and peppers. Obviously you need to be doing those during warmer parts of the year. But when it comes to onions, carrots and beetroot, I just try and get some going and see what happens. For example, these ones that I've got is a pack that I bought yesterday, and it's a mix of different coloured beetroots, and it says sow these seeds from April to July, which we've obviously passed. But they only take 12 weeks during that part of the year to reach maturity so you can harvest them. So I just think if you're offering them extra protection, why not start some off and then harvest baby beets, which is what I'm doing. And I'm also doing some more spring onions as well. And once again, the spring onions tell you to do them at a certain time. Once again, up until July. But we've got quite small spring onions growing outside, and they are growing. And I've grown them over winter as well. So once again, offering them that extra bit of protection in a greenhouse or a cold frame is going to extend your growing season. We're going to do some more spring onions, but the best thing about doing these is I don't harvest those as bulbed onions. We plant 7 to 10 seeds just in one cell and we grow them as a bunch of onions, just like you buy from the supermarket. But I only harvest the tops. I don't wait for the bulbs to form because I use the tops just to give a little bit of extra flavour to a salad, and mashed potatoes too. That works really well. So we're going to do some more of these, and these are White Lisbon, one that I've been using for years. Very reliable. So I'm going to pop them into these cells. They are quite small cells, but they're very small seeds, so we can save a bit of compost and a bit of space at the same time. And we'll grow both of them as multi-sown, and then we'll take the plugs out and then transfer them to the final growing place once they've reached a few inches tall. And this time I have sieved the compost with them being very small seeds. So I'm basically going to do both varieties in this one tray because the plants look completely different once they've germinated, and we can get 21 plugs of each variety just in that little area. But before that, we need to fill it with compost. Then all I'm going to do is just compress it down a little bit, not too much. So I'm just lightly pressing them down. That's all they'll need. And at the same time, it's creating that recess for us to put the seeds in. And then we'll just give it a light covering. So you can see what I've done there. Just left that little bit of a recess, and we'll start off with these spring onions. We'll see how many we've got, because I've got a couple of packs if there's not enough in this one. There does seem to be quite a few left because they are very small seeds, and this will probably be the last sowing of spring onions this year, so we're going to get a nice amount in there. Anywhere between 7 and 10 is plenty. But you don't have to be particular, don't count them. I think we should just about have enough for what I want to do here. So I'm just going to fill in these last 3. That'll do. There's only a couple of seeds left, so I might as well just chuck them in as well. Quick and easy, that's that job done. Now we'll do some beetroot as well. So they've all come in their individual packets. See straight away that's tomatoes, so we don't want any of those. There's not loads of seeds in here, I must admit. Unfortunately, there's not many of these beetroot at all. Just a couple. So we'll make do with what we've got. The trouble with these packets, you never know how many seeds you're going to get. So we're definitely going to be using all of those. but at least the big seeds so we can see what we're doing with them. So I'm just going to drop a couple in each for the moment, because I have got another type of beetroot that I can also use, and that's also a new one. So I'm going to chuck a few of these in as well. They're a new type of beetroot that I got, called Cylindra, and as you can see, they're a long beetroot. But we've not done any of these yet, so since they're multicoloured beetroots apparently, we might as well mix in some other ones. They're perfectly fine to grow multi-sown. And I've got a few packs of these because we got them on that Wilco sale. So I'm going to make them up to about 4 or 5 per cell. Once again, not being exact, there's no need. If you've never done multi-sown veg before, you need to give it a go. It's a really good space saver in your garden. Because things like beetroot and onions just grow and they push each other apart as they're growing. I think that'll do. There's plenty of seeds in there. We'll save a few for another day. And then I'm just going to sprinkle a bit of compost over the top of there. It's already been sieved, so it is quite fine. Just enough to cover those seeds and we're good to go. Just level that out a little bit, make sure everything's covered. And there we go, job done. I'm not going to bother labelling those either, because you can definitely tell the difference between onions and beetroots once they've germinated. But we've got quite a few plugs there to keep us going for the next few weeks. We just need to get them to germinate, so obviously I'm going to be keeping those in greenhouse. And once again, I will probably cover them up with a little bit of cling film or something, just to stop rodents digging in there, because at this time of year they do it more often than not. And also the great thing about growing spring onions and beetroot is that both of those can be just harvested for the tops. So if we decide we don't want to wait for little bulbs, we can just cut the leaves once they've got to a decent size, and we can use them in as salads. And we do the same thing with the onions. So that's why I like to grow those together. It gives us a nice little mix if we decide to do that later on. But for now, those seeds are sown. We've got something else on way. And maybe tomorrow we'll try a couple of other things and see how we get on. We've already got as broad beans on way as well. And I'm still resisting temptation to pull out these carrots. Ideally, I'd like to wait until mid-December before we take them, because I'm pretty sure by then they're going to be a little bit bigger. I hope all your crops are doing alright through these colder days. But if you've not started anything yet, but you're thinking about doing it, always remember, you can take small harvests. You don't need to wait for things to grow to the full potential, just like we're doing here. We can take little bulbs, or we can just take tops for salads. So there's always something you can be doing, even if it's only a tub of cress on your windowsill. Anything just to get a little bit of fresh homegrown produce between now and next spring. I can hear rain starting to tap on that glass, so I think for now we'll leave them be. I'll give them a bit of a covering over later with some cling film, and we'll see what happens. And if you're not already subscribed to the channel or want to see what we're going to be doing between now and Christmas, please hit that subscribe button, press that notifications button, and I'll see you next time. Take care.